In today's video, we're going to be reacting to the best Fortnite player to quit, the story of Aqua. Now, this video is made by Ace, who makes some amazing Fortnite documentaries. I will leave a link to his channel in my description below, and let's get into the video.
Aqua is one of the most decorated pros
I have
Fortnite
never
has
heard
ever
of
seen,
Aqua.
playing the game since day one and earning over
Okay.
$2 million.
$2
Just
million?
announced his retirement from the game after 4 years of being on top. So let's go back to see exactly how he got there. This is the story of Fortnite's greatest retired player, Aqua. David Wang, aka Aqua, was born in Austria on July 1st, 2002.
Nice.
At the age of 1, his father would leave.
So growing up,
You,
it was just
homie?
him, his mom, and his sister.
Now this never stopped him from living a normal life though. As a kid, he would make many friends, and one of his favorite things to do was play sports, specifically football. And he was pretty good at it, collecting many medals and trophies.
Oh my gosh, look at all
But
those
the older
trophies.
he got, the more distant he became from sports and his friends. Until at the age of around 14, he would get pulled out of public school and get homeschooled instead. And
Okay.
this is when he would enter the world of playing video games for the first time. Fast forward a couple years to late 2018, Aqua would play Fortnite for the very first time and quickly
Nice.
fell in love with it. And just a few months later, online tournaments would start, and he was ready to pop off. His first couple tournaments weren't the best, but at the same time not that bad, with him getting his first earnings in the Blackheart Cup, placing 12th. And soon
Nice.
after, the World Cup would be announced for anyone to compete to prove that
Everybody
they're the best.
literally went
But
to the
going
World
into
Cup.
it, Aqua didn't even have a duo, and while looking at his
Oh.
options, he saw that he had received a DM from Nyrox.
Okay.
They both saw each other placing well on the leaderboard, so they seemed like
Whoa,
they were a
what
good
is that?
fit.
Resolution
But there was
seems
just one
weird.
problem. Neither of them spoke the same language. Because of this, they were
Oh.
unsure if they would even play
That's
together,
crazy.
But Aqua decided to give it a shot. So
No
instead
way.
of speaking German, which he usually does, he started learning slowly how to speak better English.
Oh,
And
what?
to their surprise, they were playing quite well, but they needed to play an actual tournament to see how they would actually
That's
do.
crazy.
Luckily for them,
He just
though,
picked
the
up
World Cup
another
warm-up
language.
was right around the corner. They would end up placing 8th, which was very promising. Now,
Oh,
the first
nice.
3
I feel like
weeks
you
of
can
the
just
World
pick up
Cup
some
didn't go
keywords
too
in
well,
Fortnite.
placing 1,000th,
Build,
64th,
build,
and
go, go,
67th.
go.
But in week 4 duos, after placing first in opens, they would get a 3rd place finish in
Oh,
the
that's
finals,
good.
qualifying themselves to New York. In the week 7 solos, Aqua would do it again, winning the tournament, qualifying for both events. And just a couple
Nice.
months later, they were in New York competing for a chance to earn life-changing money. Going into it, not many people really had them on their radar as a list of potential winners.
Right.
And going up some of the favorite pros back then, it was going to be really hard. When the first game came around, they would end up dying to Storm Surge without getting any points. And this would pretty much continue for the next 2 games, so halfway through the tournament, they found themselves in 30th place.
No way.
Now, this absolutely destroyed Nyrox, making him not even want to continue playing. But after a pep talk from Aqua, all they needed was just one good game and they would be back
One
in
good
it.
game.
And the
One
king of
good
high
game.
ground would prove exactly why he is that king.
Aqua and Nyrox are holding up the high ground here as well, and that's a scary duo.
Okay, I see Aqua up there.
Falconer down low, and he's wrestling with everyone, but Nyrox is out. Oh no, he does manage to get the elimination. And
Nice. They won a game. Let's go.
look at the high ground, folks. The battle
Let me see.
begins
Oh,
now.
Aqua's
Aqua and
high.
Nyrox are winners from last
Okay, Aqua and Nyrox. Got it. They are super high. That's all you need though is high ground.
by this minigun of Aqua. This thing is so punishing from above. You have that high ground advantage. You have the shots on Wolfies. Pressure coming on in. They drop down low. The tags coming.
Oh my gosh, they won 2 back to back.
There is a 17-point performance from Aqua and Nyrox.
They
After
did it.
back-to-back
That's
wins, Going
crazy.
into the last game, they were second on the leaderboard, 3 points behind Saf and Zayt, who were in first.
Okay.
Plus, there were a bunch
That's
of
insane.
other teams that had the potential to win if they just had that one good game. So, going into the last game, every point mattered, and it was time to see if they could pull off a comeback of a lifetime.
You see Aqua weak, Nyrox weak. Players dropping another shockwave, using it all the way ahead of the zone. It could be a game-saving play on the bottom right of your screen. Aqua's all by himself.
Nice.
Everybody's just picked up placement points for the leaderboard standing, which is key. Still make something happen. They were in a very similar situation earlier on. Shots still coming out through.
Nice.
Aqua with one, but he goes down. We'll have to see where they end up as we look to crown our champions.
In their last game, with a 6-kill 8th, they had no idea if they had enough to win. And with every player and viewer on the edge of their seats, it was finally announced.
Oh gosh.
The results are
Did they get it?
Aqua and Nyrox!
They won? What? That's insane for them to win after all
They
that.
would end up winning the World Cup by just 4 points, creating
No
one of the greatest
way.
moments and comebacks
One of the
in gaming
greatest
history,
comebacks
also
ever.
earning themselves $1.5 million each.
Oh!
After winning in duos, the very next day, Aqua had the solo finals to look forward to. However, he would actually not play very well, ending in 94th.
Who cares?
But I'm sure he didn't mind the poor performance
Not at
after
all.
becoming a millionaire the day prior. But then
Oh
something
my
happened that
gosh.
nobody saw coming. Just a day after winning the World Cup, Aqua decided to split with Nyrox. And his reasoning for this was because he preferred to play with someone else who spoke German, as well as him and Nyrox only played on tournament days. And Aqua wanted to play more scrims and grind the game.
Okay.
Right
that
after
makes
this
sense.
decision, the very next season, FNCS Trios was announced for the first time. And he would end up playing with Shinken and Stompy. In this season, he would continue to prove why he is still the best. Now, during this time, everybody was looking at Mongrel, Benji, and Mitro, who were dominating back then.
Right.
But in the background, you had Aqua's trio also placing very well. Especially Aqua in solos. As you can see here, he was consistently placing extremely well.
Nice.
And in FNCS, they would end up winning one of the weeks and coming third in another one. And lastly, winning their heat to make the grands. So, going into this finals, it was time to see who will win the first FNCS in Fortnite history. And well, Aqua did not disappoint.
Nice. Where's Aqua? Okay, Aqua's almost high ground.
Nice. So right now, Joe Hodge is hanging out somewhat. That was it. Got it. Discipline from the Hydra and Zeke, and they're showing it right now. They're in full force. So he's saying, "I will go head to head."
Nice.
Lucky gets shredded in the sky. On this is it. This is the last play. They just have to go for the ISO.
Nice.
Shot and 100 to the dome. Top trio still trying to find it as Aqua pushes it out of the box. Can he find it? 100 bump. Gets the swap. 6 HP and he takes out Tohash. Forward the swing on the placement point. Does it for another one. And their team needs the conversion. What is going on? 1, 2, 3 strikes. Aqua takes them all out. Solo players who clutches up. Aqua. Hot take catches Daedra and Chapix catches.
They're just dominating. My God.
Taken out right there. Bye to him. Can they find another? And it is. It's gonna be X8.
Nice.
Waterfalls need to be there. Shockwaves go up. It's a beat.
Nice. That's it.
At the moment, the big shotgun, the victors of the region, Stompy,
that's dope.
Aqua, take it home. The Europe final,
They trying to trap them?
The grand final, winners of the region, 76 points, the victory royale.
After once again showing why he is the king of high ground, they would dominate the competition, winning the first FNCS in history. And with the announcement of a new chapter,
the first
came a new
FNCS
game mode, which was squads. So it was time to see if he could continue that momentum. Unfortunately though, this would actually be one of his worst seasons, not even making the grand finals. Even though FNCS this season was a big letdown for him, he still played extremely well in solos. And he even placed 6th in the DreamHack Winter event. In Chapter 2 Season 2, however, he would bring back the momentum for Duo FNCS playing with Stompy. Going into the qualifiers, they would end up winning 2 of the weeks, and in the heats, they ended up placing 2nd, making it into the Grands, where they would finish 4th, bringing it back after a disappointing last season. And he would continue this momentum once again in the solo FNCS Invitationals, which was that same season. After showing how good he is in Cash Cups, he would back it up in the highest tier stacked lobbies by placing 3rd. And once again, after a really good performance, you'd think that he'd continue to do well. But unfortunately, something ended up happening that would mess with his entire career. And lead to one of the main reasons why he stopped playing. After playing so much and so often, Aqua started to develop extreme pain in his hands whenever he played. And after getting it checked out, he ended up having tendinitis, which is extremely bad. So this meant that for his own health, as much as he wanted to grind and play the game, he would end up taking a break for most of that season to heal up. And you'll see going forward, this would become an ongoing problem. So during Season 3, he would only end up playing that last qualifier of FNCS in a couple of the Cash Cups. But going into the Stark season, he would return to play FNCS, but still he wasn't able to play as much as he wanted to. And because of the break he had, he wouldn't end up performing well this time, and he would only end up not even making the heats for FNCS. And for Season 5's FNCS, he would only play the first qualifier in a couple Cash Cups. But it was once again in Season 6, he would make his return to playing, this time with CRR and picking up Vino, who at the time only had around 10k earned. Now this trio performed pretty well, qualifying to the heats, but then something happened once again that nobody saw coming. Vino would end up getting banned. You see, back when Vino originally started playing,
Dang it,
he
Vino.
actually bought the account he was using, and since it's against TOS, they decided to ban him. And Epic really chose a poor time to do that. So since all that happened, Aqua's FNCS for that season was unfortunately over. But it was Season 7 where Aqua would finally make the comeback everybody was waiting for. He would end up picking up some of the best fighters we've seen in this game, Vidil and Noah Riley.
Nice.
And they would end up auto-qualifying to
I
the
don't know who
Grands
they
after
are.
placing second in the first qualifier. So with Aqua back for his first Grands in 5 seasons, everybody was curious to see how he would do. And unfortunately though, he would only end up finishing in 8th place, which still isn't all that bad. And going into Season 8 FNCS, he would continue that momentum after switching up his team for CRR and Festroki.
Nice.
Once again, they would have a good performance in the qualifiers, and once they made Grand Finals, we would see Aqua back in his prime. They would end up getting a podium finish in 3rd place. And in that same season was the Grand Royale, where he would once again make the Grands, but didn't do too well, finishing in 14th. Now
Nice.
we're headed into Chapter 3, where the game mode is now duos, and
Okay.
Aqua was hoping once again to get a good
God, it
placement,
switches up so
but
much.
unfortunately he would get a 23rd in the finals for
That's
that
okay.
first season. It was at this point, Aqua was sick of not performing, and for Season 2, he decided to pick up Vino once again, and he would grind extremely hard. And this grind would pay off. They would end up winning 3 different cash cups throughout the
Nice.
season, and after placing second in the 3rd week qualifiers, they made Grand Finals.
That's it, dude.
However, this time, he was looking the best he's been in seasons. So now it was time to see if he really had what it took to take home that crown once again.
It's on. Track, that.
He's locking in.
I'm low, baby. Let's go.
Nice.
Get the mats. They're fighting. 60. Track, watch me. In there. Got that. I'm dropping down. Got the ball.
Let's go.
61.
They're locked in.
50, that.
Nice.
They would end up winning FNCS and winning 3 out of the 12 games in the process, solidifying Aqua as one of the best IGLs to touch this game. Now, unfortunately, after this win, Aqua's tendonitis got really bad to the point where he didn't play at all during Season 3, even though he
I
just
feel
won
so
FNCS. But
He
he
won
would
2
end up coming back in
FNCSs.
Season 4 because he got invited to the FNCS Invitationals. And during that event, he would end up landing at Kondo, which was contested by Malabuka and Merstash and Thomas HT and Tayson. Not the teams you want to go against off spawn.
No, not at all.
And long story short, they didn't do well, placing 45th.
Aw, it's
Afterwards,
alright,
we would
man.
once
I
again
feel bad.
enter a new chapter, but Aqua would end up taking a break for the first season. He would go on to play in Season 2, but would unfortunately not make the heats.
I think
And in
he's just
Season
playing to
3,
play,
it would
you
be
know?
the same, but he would end up playing only 2 of the FNCS weeks. And these tournaments might have been the last one he'll ever play.
Yeah.
So that now brings us to today. With the decline in placements and low motivation to play, Aqua would announce that his time in Fortnite has come to an end.
It makes
He had
sense.
officially quit the game. He
Aw,
never gave an
man.
exact reason, but it's pretty safe to
It's
say that over time,
probably
as
the
his hand injury
tendonitis.
got worse and the
Yeah.
less he could play, it would result in less performances, which then again resulted in him losing passion and motivation to play. Who knows though, one day he may return. But for now, Aqua will forever be known as one of the best players to touch the game, from
For
winning
real.
2 FNCSs
Absolutely.
to being the Duo World Cup champion. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. We're so close to 10k
Nice.
subs. Thank you all for watching.
W
and I hope you guys
video.
all have an amazing rest of your days. Peace out.
Thank you so much for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. And if there's a video you want to see, let me know down in the comments below. Peace.